welcome back. Today, we revisit a Caribbean cruise in 1998 that became the Bradley family's nightmare. The Bradleys from Virginia set sail on the Rhapsody of the Seas, a dream vacation they'd won. The ship promised luxury, safety, and unforgettable memories. But as the ship glided between Aruba and Curacao, that illusion shattered. On March 24th, one family member vanished without a trace. What began as a celebration turned into a mystery that would haunt them forever. This is the story of a paradise lost. Meet the Bradleys, Ron, Iva, Amy, and Brad, a close-knit all-American family. Ron, the hard-working father, and Iva, the devoted mother, built their lives around family. Amy, 23, and Brad, 21, were more than siblings. They were best friends. This cruise was a rare chance for the family to reconnect before life pulled them apart. Their bond was strong, their love unwavering, but nothing could prepare them for the ordeal ahead. Their unity would be tested in unimaginable ways. Amy Lynn Bradley was 23, athlete, lifeguard, and recent college grad. She was on the verge of independence, a new job, a new apartment, and a beloved puppy waiting at home. Amy was responsible, driven, and deeply connected to her family and future. The idea of her vanishing by choice was unthinkable. She was full of life, with every reason to return home. This cruise was meant to be a joyful pause before her next chapter. Instead, it became the last anyone would see of her. March 23rd was a night of celebration, dinner, laughter, and dancing at the ship's nightclub. Amy and Brad enjoyed the music, mingling with other young passengers. Amy danced with a band member, a detail that would later draw scrutiny. The siblings left the club around 1 a.m., tired but happy. The ship was quiet as they returned to their cabin. Nothing seemed amiss. It was just another night in paradise. But these would be Brad's final memories of his sister. By morning, everything would change. After the club, Amy sat on the balcony with her father, Ron, in the early dawn. They shared a quiet moment as the ship neared Curacao. Ron saw Amy relaxed, smoking, enjoying the sea air. He went back to bed, expecting Amy to follow soon. But in the short time he dozed, Amy disappeared. No noise, no struggle, just silence. Ron's last memory, his daughter, peaceful against the pre-dawn sky. In minutes, she was gone, leaving only questions and heartbreak. When Ron Bradley woke up around 6, Amy was no longer on the balcony. He looked around the suite, but she wasn't there. As the ship approached Curacao and Amy didn't return, a sense of unease crept in. Ron woke his wife and son. They hadn't seen her either. She had vanished. Everything was left behind, her shoes, Idaho, and the room key. The family felt something was terribly wrong. Amy was a trained lifeguard, and the idea of her falling overboard seemed impossible. The thought of her taking her own life was absurd. She had a wonderful life ahead. Panic set in. Their daughter was missing on a massive cruise ship. Amy had disappeared from their private balcony without a trace. The dream vacation had become a waking nightmare. The Bradley family sprang into action, alerting the ship's crew that Amy was missing. They pleaded with the crew not to dock in Curacao, fearing anyone who might have taken Amy could disappear into a foreign country. The family felt their concerns were not met with the urgency they deserved. The ship docked in Curacao as scheduled. The gangway was lowered, and passengers began to disembark. The family insisted on a public announcement, but this was initially denied. This left the Bradleys feeling helpless, as if the cruise line cared more about its image than their daughter's safety. They felt they were fighting against corporate procedure. Eventually, a search was conducted, but the Bradleys felt it was superficial. Ron, Iva, and Brad conducted their own frantic search, showing Amy's picture to anyone who would listen. They were a family in agony, searching for a beloved daughter who had vanished. Ron, Iva, and Brad Bradley believed Amy did not fall overboard or take her own life. They were convinced their daughter had been targeted and abducted. This wasn't a wild guess. It was based on Amy's character and unsettling events leading up to her vanishing. Amy was a strong, capable young woman, a trained lifeguard who was not prone to accidents. The family recalled that some of the crew members had seemed to pay an unusual amount of attention to Amy. They believed these individuals saw Amy not as a guest, but as a target. This theory, that Amy was kidnapped right off the cruise ship, became the foundation of their entire search. The Bradleys were adamant that accidental falls or suicide didn't fit their daughter's profile. They pointed to her plans for the future as proof that she had everything to live for. To them, The only logical explanation was that she had crossed paths with dangerous people. As the Bradleys tried to get the crew to take them seriously, another unsettling incident occurred. During their search, they ran into a waiter who had an odd, almost guilty reaction when shown Amy's photo. The family later learned that the ship's photographer had taken a picture of Amy. When they went to find it, they were told that the photo wasn't available, which seemed suspicious. It felt like evidence was being withheld. To the grieving family, it felt like part of a cover-up. The refusal to provide the picture, combined with the waiter's strange reaction, painted a picture of a crew that was, at best, uncooperative. The strange behavior of certain crew members, the missing photograph, all pointed to one chilling conclusion for the Bradleys. The FBI soon took over the investigation, as Amy disappeared in international waters. The ship, a potential crime scene, wasn't treated as such. Passengers disembarked and the ship moved on. The family believed Amy was abducted into sex trafficking, a scenario fitting the circumstances. The Caribbean is a known route for human trafficking. Accomplices on the ship could have targeted Amy. This explained her disappearance from a private balcony. She could have been taken off the ship in Curaçao. For the Bradleys, this explained all the terrifying pieces. They were fighting to rescue their daughter from a dangerous criminal network. Amy was out there, and they would bring her home. The search for Amy Bradley continued after the Rhapsody of the Seas left port. Days later, 2 Canadian tourists on a beach in Curaçao reported seeing a woman resembling Amy, flanked by 2 controlling men. The woman had tattoos matching Amy's, a Tasmanian devil, a gecko, and a Chinese symbol. This sighting offered a sign of hope, but the trail quickly went cold. It was the first of many leads that would bring hope and disappointment to the Bradley family for years. One of the most disturbing sightings came a year after Amy's disappearance. A U.S. Navy sailor on shore leave in Curaçao claimed he visited a brothel. While there, a woman approached him saying her name was Amy. She desperately pleaded for help, saying she was being held against her will. The sailor, intimidated by security, left. He later saw Amy's picture and realized it was the woman he'd spoken to. This lent weight to the belief that Amy had been forced into sex trafficking. The Bradley family pushed the FBI to investigate, providing the brothel's name and the sailor's testimony. By the time investigators looked into it, the woman was gone, and the trail went cold. This sighting remains a significant piece of the Amy Bradley puzzle. It transformed the case into a potential story of survival. While chasing leads, the Bradleys fought another battle, the legal system. Convinced Royal Caribbean was negligent, they filed a lawsuit, alleging inadequate security and an improper response to Amy's disappearance. They sought to hold the corporation accountable, believing the crew's actions contributed to Amy's disappearance. More than financial compensation, they sought justice and answers, hoping to uncover internal documents. Unfortunately, their legal fight was an uphill battle. Cruise tickets contain clauses limiting a passenger's ability to sue, and the industry is protected by maritime law. Ultimately, the lawsuits were dismissed, becoming another source of frustration. If the courts wouldn't help, they would find another way to keep fighting for Amy. With the legal avenues seemingly closed off, the Bradley family knew they had only one powerful tool left at their disposal: public awareness. They made it their life's mission to keep Amy's story in the public eye, refusing to let her become just another forgotten face on a missing persons poster. So they tirelessly gave interviews to newspapers, television shows, and really, anyone who would listen. They appeared on national programs like Unsolved Mysteries and America's Most Wanted, sharing their story and plastering Amy's face across millions of television screens. They understood that the more people who knew about Amy, the more eyes and ears would be out there looking for her. Their public campaign was relentless and, well, multifaceted. They established a hotline for tips, created a website dedicated to the search, and printed thousands of flyers with Amy's photograph and information about her identifying tattoos. Ron, Iva, and Brad traveled extensively, following up on potential leads themselves and speaking to communities in the Caribbean, pleading with locals to come forward with any information, no matter how small it seemed. They offered a substantial reward for information leading to Amy's safe return, hoping to incentivize someone who knew something to break their silence. This campaign was not just about finding Amy, it was about honoring her. The family refused to speak of her in the past tense. For them, she was still out there waiting to be found. Their public appeals were always filled with a mixture of deep sorrow and unwavering hope. They spoke directly to their daughter in their interviews, telling her they loved her and would never stop looking for her. They also had a message for anyone who might be holding her captive, that they would never give up, that they would never stop fighting, and that the world was watching and looking for Amy Bradley. The family's efforts turned them into prominent advocates for the missing. They became a voice for other families who had experienced similar tragedies, highlighting the potential dangers of cruise ship travel and the loopholes in maritime law. Their unending campaign ensured that Amy's case never went completely cold. For over 2 decades, their persistence has generated new leads and kept the investigation alive in the court of public opinion, a testament to a family's powerful and undying love for their missing daughter and sister. In the face of unimaginable pain, the Bradley family channeled their grief. For Ron and Brad, that outlet became music. They formed a tribute band, Amy's Brothers Band, to keep her spirit alive. They played gigs, not for money, but for awareness, sharing Amy's story at every show. The music became a vehicle for their message. The band became a living memorial, a way to celebrate Amy's life. It was their way of fighting back against the darkness, using melody and rhythm to keep a candle of hope burning. A family finding a unique and powerful way to tell the world that they would never stop playing for Amy. For over 2 decades, the Bradley family has lived in a state of suspended animation, caught between the horror of what might have happened and the hope that Amy could still be alive. This hope is a heavy burden. It fuels their search, but prevents them from ever finding peace. Ivor Bradley has spoken about the desperate need for answers. Ron has stated with conviction, she's still out there somewhere. This enduring hope is a conscious choice. Brad Bradley has said, we're never going to give up. They are aware of how much time has passed, but choose to believe in the best possible outcome. Hope is their shield against despair. It's a relentless emotional toll. But the Bradleys are not most people. They know that giving up on hope would feel like giving up on Amy herself. It is a promise made to Amy to keep searching until they have an answer. Brad Bradley was just 21 years old when his older sister vanished. In an instant, his life was irrevocably changed. He went from being a carefree younger brother on a family vacation to a key witness in a baffling mystery and a central figure in a lifelong search. The weight of that night, the final hours spent dancing with Amy, has rested on his shoulders for his entire adult life. He has grown up in the shadow of her absence, channeling his personal grief into a relentless drive to find her. Now a successful physician's assistant specializing in orthopedics, a husband and a father, he has never wavered in his commitment to his sister. His role in the family's campaign has been crucial. As his parents have gotten older, Brad has become a prominent public face of the search, his voice carrying the family's message to a new generation. He speaks with a clarity and a strength that is both heartbreaking and inspiring. He carries the memories of Amy not as a ghost from the past, but as a living presence that motivates him every single day. He's had to balance building his own life and family with the all-consuming mission of finding his sister, a task that honestly requires an almost superhuman level of emotional resilience and dedication. The bond between Amy and Brad was special, a typical sibling mix of friendship and rivalry that had deepened as they entered adulthood. That bond was not severed on March 24, 1998. It was transformed. For Brad, finding Amy is not just about bringing a missing person home, it's about fulfilling a brother's promise to protect his older sister. Every interview he gives, every lead he follows, is an act of that promise. He is driven by the gut feeling that she is alive, a feeling that has been a constant compass for him and his parents through the darkest of times. Brad's journey is a powerful story of love and loyalty. He has turned a personal tragedy into a public crusade, not just for Amy, but for all families of the missing. He understands that their story serves as a cautionary tale, a reminder to always be vigilant. His life is a testament to the promises we make to the people we love. He will not rest, he will not be silent, and he will not stop searching until he knows what happened to his sister. It is a brother's solemn vow, one that has echoed for more than 2 decades and will continue to echo until Amy Bradley is found. Let's bring the Amy Bradley story to the present. The mystery hasn't faded. Her case has seen a resurgence in public interest. New generations are learning about her story through podcasts, online forums, and social media. This attention has breathed new life into the search. The internet connects a global community dedicated to finding answers. The case is back in the mainstream spotlight, reminding the public this is an active search. The Bradley family hopes someone might now feel empowered to come forward with information. Time can loosen tongues. People who once had a reason to stay silent might no longer feel that pressure. The Bradleys hope this publicity will reach the person who holds the key. This re-examination shows the collective will to find justice for Amy. The renewed interest in Amy's case has been fueled by filmmakers. Directors Ari Mark and Phil Lott have worked closely with the Bradley family, gaining their trust. Through their work, these storytellers have come to understand the family's absolute, unwavering belief that Amy is still alive. The directors themselves concluded that maybe they're right. It suggests that the family's abduction theory and their belief that Amy is alive isn't just based on emotion. These filmmakers act as a bridge between the Bradley family and the public. Their perspective is unique because they are immersed in the emotional core of the story. Their work has been instrumental in keeping the case relevant and accessible to a modern audience. In today's world, a story's impact can often be measured by its digital footprint, the conversations it sparks online. And the Amy Bradley case continues to echo loudly across the internet. A recent article on a major publication's website, for instance, can draw dozens of comments and kick off a flurry of discussion on social media platforms like Reddit, Facebook, and X. People from all over the world weigh in, sharing their theories, dissecting the evidence, and expressing their heartfelt sympathy for the Bradley family. This online chatter is more than just idle gossip. It's a form of collective brainstorming, a digital town square where the case is kept alive. These online communities serve as a living archive of the case. Newcomers can quickly get up to speed on the details, while longtime followers can debate the significance of the sighting in the brothel or the strange behavior of the ship's crew. They share links to old interviews, analyze photographs for new clues, and sometimes even uncover small details that may have been overlooked. This constant digital conversation ensures that Amy's face and story are continually circulating online, increasing the chances that they might just pop up on the screen of someone who knows something, prompting them to finally make that call to the FBI. The power of this digital echo cannot be overstated. It creates a sense of community for those fascinated by the case and provides a platform of support for the Bradley family. They can see in real time that they are not alone in their fight. Every share, every comment, every post is a small act of solidarity that helps them carry the immense weight of their hope. It's a constant reminder that there is an army of strangers out there who care about what happened to Amy and who are willing to lend their voices to the chorus demanding answers from those who have remained silent for so long. As we move forward, this digital momentum is likely to be the most critical tool in the search for Amy Bradley. It's a force multiplier for the family's efforts, taking their message and amplifying it to a scale they could never achieve on their own. The case continues to resonate because it touches on our deepest fears about safety, trust, and the vulnerability of a loved one in a place that's supposed to be a paradise. The digital world has ensured that the questions surrounding Amy's disappearance will continue to be asked, louder and louder, until one day, hopefully, an answer finally echoes back. Amy Lynn Bradley's disappearance remains one of the most haunting unsolved mysteries to ever occur on the open ocean. For over 26 years, her story has been a chilling reminder that even in a place designed for joy, darkness can intrude. Her family has never wavered in their belief that she was taken. The heart of this story is the incredible resilience of the Bradley family. They have channeled their grief into action, creating a tribute band, giving countless interviews, and fighting to keep Amy's name in the public consciousness. Their hope has been a beacon. The search for Amy Bradley is far from over. Someone, somewhere knows what happened to Amy. If you have any information, please come forward. Your tip could be the one that finally brings the Bradleys the answers they have so desperately sought. They need to bring Amy home. Please help keep the conversation going. Be sure to subscribe to the channel for more deep dives into cases that demand our attention.